Honorable Excellencies, thank you for the opportunity to address you today at this important gathering of parliamentarians, which allows me to express my support for your attention to and your leadership on the disaster risk reduction agenda at the global and national level. The Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction places great importance on the role of parliamentarians in supporting the implementation of disaster risk reduction by developing new legislation or amending existing legislation and setting budget allocations. Parliamentarians are absolutely key to strengthening disaster risk governance, to preventing new and managing existing disaster risk. This is the great paradigm shift contained in the Sendai Framework, moving from the emphasis on disaster management to disaster risk management. And it can only be achieved with your support. I am confident that your working council can play a significant role in ensuring that this important paradigm shift is reflected in new legislation, which will enable your respective countries to meet the targets set out in the Sendai Framework. This is especially important as the Sendai Framework covers both man-made and natural hazards, which was not the case with its predecessor, the Hyogo Framework for Action. It also covers related environmental, technological, and biological hazards and risks. The Sendai Framework seeks to prevent the creation of new risk and reduce existing levels of disaster risk through legal, political, and institutional measures that prevent and reduce hazard exposure and vulnerability to disaster. The Sendai targets include reducing mortality from disasters, reducing the numbers of people affected by disasters, reducing economic losses, and reducing damage to critical infrastructure. Meeting those targets is an essential part of achieving the overall goals of the 2030 Development Agenda of eradicating poverty, protecting natural resources, combating inequality, and promoting gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls. When it comes to the empowerment of women and girls, it is very clear that you are role models and have a hugely important role to play in ensuring that women and girls are included in disaster risk management at national and local level. I'd like to conclude by encouraging your active support to the campaign we are launching this year on October 13, International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction, to promote the Sendai 7, the 7 targets of the Sendai Framework. We will start this year with a campaign focused on Target 1, which is to reduce mortality. And the UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction is particularly concerned to ensure that there's a special focus on life-saving skills for women and girls. This is an area of disaster risk management which can benefit greatly from your support. Thank you for your attention. I wish you a productive session and look forward to hearing about the outcomes of your discussions.